Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now, this for me is a total beginner. Totally. Now, I've been trying to do, a few people have asked me if I could try and do the 10 stitch blanket on around loom. This is how I've got. Now, I have got one or two, when I started it, I've got one or two sort of little blips and glips, but basically, when you first do this, you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect the first time you do this until you completely suss it out. Now, I tried it on the plain and purl and I got completely lost. So what I decided to do was, I'm just using the normal E-wrap stitch. I love the E-wrap stitch. It's a nice pretty stitch. It's quite close together and you don't get loads of big gaps or anything in it. Now, what you need, you're going to need to get yourself some of these little pins. If you don't have any of these little plastic safety pins, use normal safety pins or some pieces of wool just to mark your corners. It's so much easier once you mark your corners, so you know when to do your next corner. Now, I'm going to get a pen and a pencil and I'm going to explain something to you. Now, the trick with a 10 stitch blanket, what you're going to do is you only knit with 10 stitches. Now, I was totally confused with that. What you're going to do first is, I'm going to show you a little plan. It might help. It might not, but it might. When you start your blanket, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. When you start your blanket, you're going to do about 18 rows. This is the part that discriminates whether you're going to have a square blanket or you're going to have like an oblong blanket like this, a rectangle blanket. So I've done 18 rows. So I've got a sort of square. So this is what you're going to knit first. You're going to knit your square. And then the confusing part for me and for a lot of other people is, when you do the corner, they tell you corner part 1 and corner part 2. Well, corner part 1 is you're decreasing your stitches. So your knitting will look like that when you've done corner part 1. When you do corner part 2, you'll be increasing your stitches again, and it'll look like this. So that'll be corner part 2. Once you've got corner part 1 and 2, it's totally confusing because I thought, where am I going to go now? What you have to do only once is, you need to do another corner part 1 and then another corner part 2. So you've actually got 4 sections. This is so you can turn the corner. Now, if you can see, I'm going to turn the knitting round. It's still attached to that hook. Don't worry, I've got another hook you can see better. Now, I'll show you where I'm coming from. This section here, let me move that up without it falling off. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now just bear with me with this. Now this section here, up to here, is my 18 rows. That's this part here. That's my 18 rows. Now, can you see that triangle there? That is corner part 1. So that's that part there. So that is corner part 1 there. Now this part here, it actually looks like a great big one, but it's not. It's actually halved here. That is corner part 2. That's that part there. I'll lift that up. That's that part there. Now the other half of this here is corner part 1 again. That's that part there. And then you've got this section here. This section here is that second corner part 2. You only do that once to get yourself into making this square. Can you see that square? So once you've done corner part 1, down there corner part 2, I'm going to call that corner part 3, and then your corner part 4 runs across there. That's that part. So you can start knitting and joining the rest of it down this way. It sounds complicated, but take a look at the diagram. When I'm going to show you how to do this, it's going to look confusing. It confused, I'd like to say a French word here, but it confused me a lot. It really did. But the basic is, you start with your first square, then you do a corner section, corner part 1, where you're decreasing, then you increase again, very much the way when you do a sock, the heel of a sock. And then you're going to do it again, and then a 4th time, so that you can start, as you knit, your stitches are on here, so as you knit, you start to pick up those stitches, and you'll end up with a part knitted here. That's this part. That's that part there. And then what you'll do is, I'm going to hold on to that because that one's just went over the edge. Then what you're going to do is, you're going to do another corner part. I'll put my pen there. So there's your corner part 1 again, and there's your corner part 2. Now the only time you do 4 corner parts is at the very beginning. This beautiful pillar box red. It's chunky wool, so I'll only need the 1 strand. I won't need to knit with 2. And ta-da! I've got another little hoop. I've got 2 sets of these, and it's actually really great, especially if you're trying to teach someone. So what I've done is, I've actually marked round 10 pegs. So that way I'm not going to get lost going back and forward. Now, this is super chunky, and again I got it from John O'Hagan. So I'm going to make a little slip knot to start. So a slip knot is around your fingers and bring it through the hole and got a little loop. Now what I'm going to do is, get yourself a little piece of wool. Because you're going to need to know where your end hoops are, it's so much easier, I found, just to stick this on. You can always just take it back off again. So we're going to put that on peg number 1. So just forget about that little pink part. That's just our little, that's to tell me where the end, the last stitch is for when we knit. We'll come to that. Now, you're just going to E-wrap. If you can do your plain and purl already, then you're fine. If you're a beginner like me and you've never done a 10 stitch and you don't do much purl, try it this way and see how you get on. Once you've done your first square, then you can knock yourself out by trying loads of different stitches, and you can just knit away whatever way you want. The E-wrap, go behind your peg and wrap around the front. Go behind the peg and wrap around. Behind and wrap around. Pull it down a little shade. Now this blanket done in this E-wrap knits really quick. So once you get to number 10, just go across the back of number 9 and work your way back. There you go. Now you can put your wool on the inside of a pen or a straw or something that's going to help you wrap. Now, just cast your stitches over. Now I know you've only got one there, don't worry about it. Just pick your stitches up and over. Now what you're going to do is, in this E-wrap stitch, you're going to knit 18 rows. That's what I did. I just done 18 rows to begin with. So we're going to E-wrap all the way back to number 10. And then it's going to roll down there, it'll be a bit easy. All the way along to number 10. And then you're just going to knit up and over, up and over. Just keep going, up and over. Keep your tension just nice and quite loose, don't have it too tight. Now you're just going to E-wrap back, so just go around pin 10 and go around behind your other one. I'll show you that again. So go around the front of pin 10 and around. So now we're going to knit pin 10 now. And we'll knit pin 1 as well because we're on that. So we're just going to knit this row. Up and over. So I'm going to do my 18 rows and then I'll come back. Just remember, when you're at number 10, go around number 10 and all the way back to number 1. Okay? So just do that for 18 rows. I've done my 18 rows. I've put a little marker in this corner as well, and in this corner, and you'll see why later. So, with the diagram, what we've done is we've done this section here. That's your 18 rows, so we've done that. Now we have to do corner piece 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to knit and we're going to decrease, and it's going to make a triangle shape like this with the 10 stitches. So I'll just set that there. Now what you're going to do is you're going to knit to number 10. So just E-wrap. Remember, leave that first one, we want a nice neat edge. Knit your way along to peg 10. What you're going to do at peg 10 is, but I'm going to try and keep this up here so you can see it. So what you're going to do at peg 10 is, you're going to wrap peg 10 and then work your way back to number 1. Don't knit peg 10. Knit peg 9. It might be just a little bit difficult, but get it in. So don't knit peg 10. We're going to work our way back to number 1. We're going to come to number 9. We won't knit number 9. And we're going to end up with 2 stitches on each peg. So let me get down to number 1. Now, we've got number 9 wrapped. Don't knit it. Push it down out the way. And you're going to E-wrap from number 8 and go back to number 1. So knit number 8 and knit your way back to number 1. So now we've got 2 pegs with 2 stitches. There we go. So we're going to knit back to number 1. And it does help having the numbers on the side as well. I keep moving this too far down. So we're going to knit back to number 1. And go back up to number 8 this time. So we're going to number 8. So miss number 1, we've got a nice neat edge. And we're going to E-wrap up to number 8. Don't knit number 8. So we'll knit our stitches over. You can do them one at a time if you want. It's up to you. You'll find your own way to do this. So there we go. So number 8 is wrapped, but don't knit it. Now we're going to work our way back that way to number 1. Don't knit number 8. We're going to knit number 7 over. So now we've got 3 with 2 stitches on. Just the same way as we did the corner of the sock. So just knit your way along to number 1. Push your stitches down, knit number 1. There we go. We're going to knit our way along to number 7. So miss the first one, we've got a nice clean edge. So we're going to wrap number 7, but don't knit it. Knit number 6 and knit your way back to number 1. There we go. So now we're going to wrap number 6 and work our way back. So don't knit number 7, knit over number 6. There we go. Now work our way back. We're going to work our way back to number 6 now. So don't knit number 1, we don't make the edge. We're going to wrap up to number 6. Knit them over. Like I said, you can knit your stitches one at a time. I just do it this way. So now we're going to leave that stitch, that second stitch on number 6. And we're going to E-wrap our way back to number 9. Knit number 5. And don't knit number 6. So we're going to have 2 stitches all the way down to number 2. We're going to work our way doing this all the way back. So we end up with 2 stitches from number 10 to number 2. So now we're going to do up to number 5. Don't knit number 5. Push them over. So we're going to E-wrap our way back from number 4 to number 1. It gets quicker. Now, there's different people who do this different ways. We all find your own way. Now we're going to wrap up to number 4, but don't knit number 4. Just push number 4 down out the way. We're going to keep the 2 stitches on that. Knit over these ones. So we're keeping our 2 stitches on number 4, and we've got 2 stitches on all the rest of the pegs up here. So now you're going to E-wrap number 3, number 2, number 1, knit number 3, number 2, and number 1. Now you're going to E-wrap just number 2 and number 3. Don't knit number 3, we'll just knit number 2. We'll E-wrap our way back, so you're going to E-wrap number 2 and number 1. And we're going to knit those, and then we're going to E-wrap number 2 and bring it in a figure 8 over number 1, leave number 2, leave the 2 stitches on number 2. Now, there you go, that's you done your first part of the corner. Now, that's you done this part here. We've now done this part. So that's that part done, that part's done, and that part's done. Now we're going to do this part. Before we do this part, put a marker in so you know where the corner is. And you'll find out why shortly. When, I'm going to put that on here first and I'll show you my other little blanket I've got done. When you knit and you keep a marker in the corners, so when you knit along, you know that's where to start your next corner. So you need a corner to work your way down that side. So once you get to that first part, once you've done that first part up here, put a pin in, or a piece of wool, or a peg, just to mark it. That's your marker. So we've got a marker here, and a marker here, and I've got a marker there. This is just so that when we start to knit, we know where the end is, and then we can start doing the next corner. You'll see that in a minute. Now I'm sorry if this tutorial is a little bit longer, but it's the best way to explain it. So we've got our marker in, let's throw it down here. What we're going to do is we're going to start increasing. So we're going to increase again, that's going to make this triangle. And we're still going to be using those 10 stitches. So this area here is where you've got all those double stitches. This is where we are, we're here. This is where all your double stitches are. So now we're going to increase them again to make this triangle, and we'll start knitting our 10. So to do that, just get your stick again. So it looks a little weird. Don't worry about it, it's going to look even worse later on. So don't worry about it, just have faith in yourself. Okay? So now what we're going to do is, we're going to miss number 1 because we want a nice clean edge. We're going to wrap number 2, and we're going to take those 2 big stitches, and bring it over. Now knit number 1, down there. Now we're going to work over to number 3. So don't knit number 1, we want a nice clean edge. We're going to wrap number 2 and wrap number 3. So we're going to knit number 2, and we're going to take those 2 big stitches from number 3 and put them over. And then we're going to wrap back. So go around number 3. Some people leave it, but I found it lies a little bit more flush if you actually knit that one. Some people knit it and some people don't. So wrap number 3, go around number 2 and around number 1, and then knit those. So this is us increasing again. So now we're going to include a number 4. So miss number 1 because we've got a nice clean edge. Wrap number 2, number 3 and number 4. So we're going to knit number 2, knit number 3 and take those 2 stitches up over for number 4. Now we're going to work back to number 1. So put your wool around the front of number 4, around the front of number 4, around 3, round the back of number 2 and around the back of number 1. So we're going to knit those stitches. So what we're going to do, we're going to work up to number 5 now. So we're going to miss 1 because we've got a nice clean edge. Wrap 2, wrap 3, wrap 4 and wrap number 5. So we're going to knit those over. Don't pull it too tight when you're wrapping it around. Don't wrap too tight. Number 5, take your 2 stitches and up and over. Now go around the front of number 5 and behind number 4, number 3, wrap number 2 and wrap number 1. So we're going to knit those. So we knit number 5, 4, 3, number 2 and number 1. And then we're going to knit up to number 6. Now we're going to continue doing that back and forward to take in those 10 stitches. So now it looks even stranger. You think, yeah, we're getting there. Now how do we go down? So what you've done now is, we have done your first basic stitches, your 18 rows. We've knitted corner piece 1 and we've now finished corner piece 2. Now, I'm going to draw another little diagram here. Go over here a little bit. I made a mess of that one. I'm not very good at drawing. So that's your 18, that's your first corner piece, and that's your second corner piece. Now, if you continue to knit, you are just going to go along here. And there's no way to get that attached to that so that it goes in the square in the manner that a 10 stitch blanket goes in. It goes like a little picture frame, like this, the way you do crochet around and round in a square. So what you have to do here is, you must, only for the first time, for just this first part, to get this first initial square, you have to do 2 more parts of the corner. You have to do 1 more corner. So another part 1 and another part 2. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So now we are here in our little pattern. So you can see it a little bit. That's your 18 stitches there. That's your 18 rows, sorry. That is your first corner, piece 1. So that's that part. This part is here, inside here. That's that second part there. Now we have to do this part. We will. So now what we're going to do is, we're back to peg 1. We're going to go all the way along to peg 2 and leave 2 stitches. Work back, number 9, leave 2 stitches, back, number 8, leave 2 stitches back, just like we did the very first time. So leave number 1 because we need a nice clean edge. So we're going to wrap all the way along to number 10. So you're going to knit your stitches up to number 9. So up to number 9. Number 10, don't knit number 10. What you're going to do is you're going to bring so don't knit number 10. What you're going to do is you're going to bring the wheel back, and we're going to knit our way back to number 1. Leave number 10, don't knit it. So knit number 9, 8, 7, 6, keep walking, and all the way down to number 1. There we are. So now we're going to leave number 1 because we want a nice straight, nice clean edge, and we're going to ease that up to number 9. That up to number 9. Knit them over. Now I'm not going to do much editing to this video, it's going to be quite long, I do apologise for that again. So we're at number 9, leave number 9, don't knit number 9. So now we've got number 10 and number 9 with 2 stitches, and we're going to work our way back to number 1. So we're knitting number 8, we're leaving number 9. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're knitting along with me with your loom, then you can just pause me if I'm going too fast. You can use a long loom as well. You can even make one of those little wooden ones that I did with the nails and just put 10 nails in. So we're going to work our way back. We're going to wind it to number 8 and knit up to number 7. Don't knit number 8. There we go. And we're going to knit back. So we're going to leave number 8 with 2 stitches on. So we're going to leave number 8. So we've now got number 10, number 9 and number 8 with 2 stitches. Leave 2 stitches on number 2 and knit number 1. I'll show you that again. So when we've got our 2 stitches on all the way to number 3, we're going to wrap number 2 and wrap over, go back to number 1, leave number 2 and knit number 1, and that's us done our next section. So that's us now. We have done this part here now. So now we're here. This is where all our 2 stitches are. So we've done that part. So we've done that, 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 and that one. So because we've come to the end there, we need a little marker. Because we've come to the corner, we need to know where the corners are for when we start knitting our straight lines. So we need to know where the corners are for when we do the next set corners. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes. So now what we're going to do is, we're going to increase and we're going to do this section here. So that's this section we're going to do now, this section. And that is going to give us that turn to come down this way, to start making our blanket as a square or an oblong, whatever you want. It's the only time you do 4 parts of the corner. It's the only time you do this. After this one, when you get to this corner, you're only going to do part 1 and part 2 and then knit down and do a part 1 and a part 2 and then go that way. Okay? So we'll do this part first. We'll do this last part. So I'll put my little marker in. So either use a pin or use a piece of wool. Now what we're going to do is, we're going to wind our wool around number 2, knit over those stitches. Wind number 1. Keep that over there. Going back this way, leave number 1 because we've got a nice clean edge. Wind number 2 and number 3. Take those 2 stitches over number 3 and that one over number 2. So now we're going to knit back. Go around the front of number 3, behind number 2 and number 1. And knit these. So now we're going to go up to number 4. This number 1 you want nice clean edge. So we're going to go, we're going to knit number 2, number 3, and take the 2 stitches from number 4 up and over. Now work your way back, wrap number 4 to the front and go behind and round number 3, number 2 and number 1, and we're going to knit those. And then knit back to number 5. Take the 2 stitches to number 5 up and over. Now we're going to knit back, so around the front of number 5 and behind 4, 3, 2 and 1. So we're going to knit those. Now we're going to knit back. So now we're going to go around number 10, the front of it, and E-wrap back to number 1. And then you can give yourself a pat on the back, because that's you done the hardest part. Now this has been the most confusing part for a lot of people, especially beginners, and it was for me as well. So up and over, there we are. Ta-da! Now, you're thinking, it's looking a little hideous, it's out of shape. It's not. Now I'm going to zoom down a little bit. There we go. So what we've done now is, we've now done this section here. So this is what we needed to do to get around, to start working down the weave. So we can continue around and around and around and make the blanket bigger. So now we've got, just remember, you only do this on this first part. You don't do it when you get to these corners, you're only going to do 2. Once you start going around all the rest of your blanket, you only do these 4 sections or these 2 corners when you first start your blanket. So again, you do the amount of rows that you want. So I'm just starting off with 18. Once you make more blankets, you can make this bigger, it's up to you. But once you've done your first 18 rows, you have to do 2 corners. So that's corner part 1 and 2, and then do another 1 and then 2. And we're going to start knitting down. But as you knit down the way, you've got to join your seam as you knit. That's another little hurdle. So to do that, on this, so as you can see, it's joined here. So this is the first part, and around the corner and then down. So as you knit down, you pick up the stitches here. So I'm going to lay that. I'm going to lay that on the top. So you're going to be like me, and you're going to think, my gosh, how am I going to pick up the stitches from there and get them onto there? You don't. You only work with number 10 when you're adding these on. So you hold it this way, like this, slightly tuck that part in, so you've got it under here. Now, so you've got it under here. Now I'm going to zoom back in again. There we go. So what you're going to do is, all these little parts that are here are your stitches from your 18 rows. So you're going to pick them up. You can see it better when I turn it to the side. Can you see these parts here and these sort of little overlapping parts? These are the parts that you're going to pick up. You're going to pick up this part, and then this one, and then this one, and then that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, all the way down. What we're going to do is we're going to pick them up one at a time, each row, and put it on number 10. Now you're going to see what I mean in a minute. So you pick up this first part here, like this, and slip it over peg 10 and leave it there. So as we knit down, we're going to pick up these little stitches. So we're going to miss number 1 because we want a nice neat edge, and we're going to E-wrap right up to number 10. So we're going to knit all the way up to number 10. Now when we're at number 10, we're going to pick up your bottom stitch and that one that we picked up. That's the one we picked up, sorry. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up your normal stitch and the one that we added. That's the one we picked up, it's in the middle. And up over that stitch, like that. Now you're going to go around the front of number 10 and work all the way back. Now we're going to be working from peg 1 to 10 until we get down to this little marker. So no increasing, no decreasing, we're just going to be knitting to number 10, picking up a stitch and then go back. So when we get to number 10, this is the one we're wrapped around. That's your normal stitch and that's the one we picked up. Bring those two up over there. Now knit your way back to number 1. Go around number 10 and knit your way back to number 1. So what's happening is, you've got your part you knitted, this is our square at the top, and what it's doing as we're knitting and we're collecting those stitches onto number 10, each second row, it's going to knit this section here. It's going to knit your very first square. So this is what we now have. This is the panel we started with when we done our 18 rows. This part here is part 1 of your corner, and down here you've got part 2. Then we did another part 1 corner, and then another part 2 corner, and now we're working our way down this way to join the 18 stitches that we had, to join the 18 rows that we had here. And to join your blanket together, when you pick your stitches up at the end like I showed you, you only use peg 10 to do that. So I've only got about another 3 stitches to put onto this. So I'm going to pick up my next edge stitch and put it on there. Now I did show you how to do that already, and then we've already E-wrapped that one, so I'm E-wrapping this one, taking those 2 stitches and popping it over the top. Then knit your way back with an E-wrap stitch. This whole blanket is being done in an E-wrap stitch. So I know this tutorial is a little bit long, but I've done it purposely so that you could have your loom and your wool and you could work along with this tutorial. So just pause any parts you get stuck at, pause, and then you can catch up with me. And that way it's going to be much easier for you to understand. So there we go, we've got our first square. The next section is we're going to go down this way. So we're going to do another square and then knit this area and then work our way along here. Then once we get to your little marker, you're going to do one more corner. So that's a part 1, part 2, that's just one corner, and along to here. And then we'll do a part 1, part 2 corner, and we'll start to knit all the way along. And that way your blanket's going to get bigger. So I'm going to show you on my grey one. So first of all, I'm going to show you their little map. I'm going to show you a little map that we've been working on. Zoom in there. So what we've done, that was your first 18 rows, your first part 1 corner and your part 2, so that made your first corner. And for the first time and the only time in the blanket, you do a second corner right after that one, another part 1, part 2. And now we've knitted down here, and as we've knitted, because your loom was here, so with your peg pen we've started to pick up those stitches going down that way and knitting at the same time. So now our loom is here. What we're going to do next is we're going to put a corner here. So we'll do a corner part 1 and a corner part 2. So we'll do our first triangle of the corner and then the second triangle, and then we'll knit down this way, gathering up those side stitches here, and then you'll turn your blanket and then you'll do another corner, part 1, part 2, and then you'll knit all the way down to this section, and slowly your blanket will get bigger and bigger, and each time you get to a corner you only do one corner. So that's a part 1 and a part 2 of that square all the way around, and you keep building up and building up your blanket.